See, I lost my mom, and my husband was murdered 6 months apart. Found myself in the courtroom. I was a nurse, and I spiraled. I'm a push forward. Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge, they don't know how to handle mental health. They don't know how to handle it. They'll lock you up. I wish that I could have been in this one judge's courtroom because I would hear about her in the jail. Little did I know I would fight side by side with her daughter. And she is something fierce. So I said, I got to meet her mom. I didn't know who she was. My son had to tell me. You don't know that's true? That's Trudy White's daughter. What? Okay. I sat in her courtroom, and I saw why they were talking about her. She phenomenal. At that time, fighting, she held her ground. This is my story of you. She held her ground. Higginbotham was in there. Morvan. She held her ground. Black woman. I can't imagine how hard that was. I can't imagine. If I had 1,000 flowers in the field, I'd put them right there right now. Because I know those judges. And I saw you. And I want to thank you. And hearing what Ivy has told me, I want to thank you. I saw it for myself. I had to. And then Ashley, oh yeah, this is my mom. And now she's an attorney. I wonder if she's going to become a judge because she's fierce, just like her mom. Miss Elfrida had the radio show. I said, who's this black woman that's talking like this in light of everything that's up against us? She got a voice. She's powerful. And when she comes in the room, she demands the room. And I wanted to know who she was. And Sarah said, oh, I got to meet her too. What? And no, I'm not slighting anybody. But when I seen she was a woman of color, my color, oh, I was like, yeah, I'm running to meet her. She is beautiful. She is, what she says is intentional. She's not going to tell you that it's something that's not true. And she's going to stand on it. The memories that Sarah and I share of something she said, I was like, wow, she's going to say it. And I love her boldness, her frankness, her truth. Sateria, when I met her, I was like, she sat in the back, first of all. I didn't even know she was running the thing. I was like, okay. And then Chico told me, oh, yes, Sateria Tate. Somebody called one day and wanted someone to go and fly out to attend a healing where the mothers of people that were killed in crimes of violence had to meet with the mothers of the ones who did the crime. I was scared to death. I was like, no way, I'm not ready for that room. No way, I'm not ready for that room. Jennifer Harding was working here then. Sateria said, okay, they talked, and I went. And when I came back, Liz Robinson, my girl, I said, I got to meet Sateria, like really meet her. I started going to the meetings, and she's still quiet, sat in the back. But when I say that sister is smart, that sister embodies Pan-African woman, and she demands her space among men. I remember, and always beautiful, always dressed, don't even tell me, always ready for the occasion. And I recognize you, and I see you. Dana, I was like, oh my goodness, there's somebody else out there like me. She in these streets, and she in there in these neighborhoods that people don't want to go in. They're afraid that you're going to lock that door. Dana gets out the car, and she goes to the door and sit on the couch and talk to the mothers and the sons and the daughters involved in crimes. And she's a part of a team. She's a part of a team that does the same thing. And she is you're the only woman, right? Come on. Come on. I said, Dana, don't you, that's a rough neighborhood. You scared? Oh, no. Why am I scared? Dana, the truth. The truth. When I was at a dark, dark moment, oh, God, I need to tissue again. And because my son is incarcerated. And that's why I love the organization I'm with, Vote. Because God put me on the other side because he knew I had to get ready for the fight. I just knew he wasn't going to go in. And he wasn't going to convict him without anything. But see, God had another story. And so he had to put me on the other side. And I had to see the mothers of the sons that were coming home and smiling. I had to see how they made it through. And Dana said, Amelia, you got a voice, you got power. Talk. Say something. Go talk to them. Speak up. I can't do it. I can't do it, Dana. Why you can't? We go and visit our loved ones on the same weekend at the same parish. Allen, one of the worst racist parish there is. Got to go through Evangeline, Magna parades, but we get there. That's joy. That's joy. I want to say to our elders, I want to ask a question. What can you give us to sustain us through this fight that gets so heavy? So heavy and so downtrodden. And I always say, nobody don't know. They don't know. You got to grieve a son while he's incarcerated. They don't know that pain. They don't know that pain. I need you to tell me. How do I fight this big old ugly? And I was stay strong. That I need to be strong for my family. Tell me.
I'm gonna take that. For me, I'll just use my own experiences. I told you guys how I grew up poor. All of us have, people have idols, people that they like and they hear and they're often they're quoted and they're mine is rooted in the Word of God. And when I tell you that when I think about the crazy, because I see it, you'd have to be blind to not see it, but I don't internalize it. I do not. I look at the crazy and I say, that's crazy. And I say, I walk by faith and not by sight. I know that all things work together for good for those who love God and are the called according to his purpose. The things that I can understand why of all of the things that I had to experience, it was poverty. That is a very stressful thing. It is stressful to not know where your next whatever is going to come from. And what my mom taught me was, where there's a will, there's a way. It doesn't come quickly all the time. And it's the struggle oftentimes it's the struggle that makes you who God has intended for you to be.
Okay. I believe it. I believe it.
All things work together for good. Even the things that we think are bad, those things work together for good. I'm just gonna give you a really quick little thing. When I graduated from law school, I graduated tip top of my class. I was top 7%. And when I took the bar, I know I knocked it out of the park. But guess what? They told me that I did not pass. Oh, wow. So I didn't have good sense. So I went down there and told them to show me my exam. They told me they don't show people their exams. I said, what? I just graduated from law school. I said, the person who is a part of an obligation, who says that the obligation is extinguished, has the obligation to prove that it is extinguished. Show me my exam.
That's a lawyer. That's a lawyer.
You know, show me my exam. They would not show it to me, so I sued them.
All right now.
Ain't had near license. But y'all, they had lawyers 20 plus years, like 3 or 4 of them on the other side of the table, and me. I didn't have good sense, because I knew that that was for me. You know, you have to envision where your place is. Don't let anybody else tell you where your place is. Don't let anybody else tell you what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. If all the cattle on 1,000 hills belongs to my God, and I'm his child, that's a part of my inheritance. I want it's mine.
Amen. Amen. I thought it was, amen.
So
That's good.
that's all. Just envision what you are entitled to what you can envision. Go get it. Don't let it, the gates of hell can't keep you from having what God has intended for you. That's right. That's all about.
Amen. And get Judge Trudy to close us out. We're about to wrap up, but we cannot wrap up until we allow Judge Trudy White to answer that question and bring us home.
First of all, I don't think I've ever done this in a public setting.
What?
But I do want to talk about the joy that I experienced as being on the judiciary. And it was being served. But there are consequences to that service. You're putting others before yourself. And as a result of my 23 years as a member of the judiciary, I have work-related, primary, and secondary trauma, or PTSD. Primary trauma from what happened to me, the attacks on me. Secondary trauma from what I've seen over and over again. That one person shouldn't see one time, but I've seen it over and over again. And so I want to submit to you that you've had your share of traumas, maybe even generational traumas that's embedded in your DNA. But let me just tell you, you're ready for the fight. Those struggles have what? Prepared you for the next fight. So I would say to you, never.
We have flowers for you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm such a crybaby. Okay. Lady Colson, thank you so much. I honor you. I respect you. I love you. And I see you. Judge Shirley White. I'm in the presence of giants. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Elfrida. My big sister, my powerful black woman. And black love. For years, that wonderful marriage of yours, I wanted. Thank you for being being who you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody, let's thank our beautiful host for
We're fighting for our voting rights. Thank you. And that is a fight that we must win because we fought so hard to get our rights. We cannot let them take that from us. We cannot. I was on a call yesterday that spoke about black codes. And then they linked it to Jim Crow. And then, the new Jim Crow is prison enterprise.
Yes, ma'am.
So we've never gotten away from Jim Crow. They just gave it a new name. Where they didn't enslave us, they incarcerated us. Each one of us are touched by it in some way. We have to vote and get the right people in office so that they can carry our concerns and needs in there. And we need to start breaking this prison enterprise apart, brick by brick by brick. I'm an abolitionist, and I want it torn down. Only because they are incarcerating people at an alarming rate. Some of them don't even need to be there. Mental health has no place in a prison. Mental health has no place in a jail. We come out worse. I might look okay. Like Judge Judy say, that trauma remains. And when I walk into the legislature capitol and I see the principalities, I'm triggered. I know I have to show up and vote. Do you know you have to show up and vote? Do you know you have to show up and vote? Do you know you have to show up and vote? You know we have to vote. I'm going to take 5 people with me. I'm going to sit on that crate and I'm going to convince them that their vote matters. Chico. Now this is walking encyclopedia. This is history right here. Mr. Chico Yancey, y'all. Talk about the legislative session. I tried to,
Okay.
was waiting for it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sitting here listening at women and ladies, girls, females, you can always learn something. And sitting here listening, I go back to a saying my uncle had. He said, we all grow up trying to get away from home, growing old trying to get back to home. And it took me a while to realize what that meant. And I can remember my grandmother sitting on the front porch drinking lemonade made with honey because in the country, in Hollandale, Mississippi. I'll be 81 this year. So I've seen a few things. I can remember white water fountains, black water fountains. But I remember my grandmother telling me that I wanted to go across the street to play with them boys across the street because it looked like they was having fun. Sometimes when you look at something that look like, it ain't fun. But I wanted to get across that street. And once I got to be 18, I got across that street. And life took over. And life is just what it is. And here we are today. I was testified a few weeks ago that a committee that Sarah's on a task force. Chairman is Ashley Shelton of the Power Coalition, which the Power Coalition is our sister organization that we actually started in New Orleans together, C3, C4. And when I testified, I had to really go back. So I can remember my father my grandfather, my uncle, fighting for the same thing that we are fighting for today. 60 years later, here we are fighting the same battle. And it's because of we don't, you know, Norris has a saying, he says, election has consequences. And I believe that we are seeing these consequences now. And if you don't believe me, I was just reading, we're going to talk about bills and stuff, and I was just reading a while ago where Jay Morris is saying, a senator that's right here in the legislature, is saying that they want to have where the governor can take judges out and take DAs out that don't do what they want done. That doesn't sound like democracy to me. I'll say that again. That doesn't sound like democracy to me.
Right.
You know, you're looking at a man that I committed a very serious crime. I put myself into something I had no business doing. And one time I had a mandatory life sentence. And I spent 20 years in Angola. But guess what? We learned something in Angola. This is where this organization that we're at right now, the Angola Special Civics Project, this is where we started. I spent 20 years in prison and been out 22 years. So that's 42 years of fighting. You know, when I look at my friend right here, Althea, we met and found out we had a very good friend that was the same, and we were just talking about her as downstairs. Because before I went to prison, I was a homeowner, businessman, and I worked for the clerk of court in Orleans Parish, where you get the records and all these, but as you had a job back in those days in the 70s, it was a job. I didn't see what I saw now. And now we're coming full circle. So as you pay attention to these notices that we're going to be sending out to everyone in this room, come to the Capitol to show up and speak your mind. Again, if you don't speak up, they will do what they want to do. You know, we're about to come into a session that's unbelievable. You know, we're going over bills, and I'm really just getting back to work. I was out 3 weeks. VA gave me some medicine that messed my system up. I was taking 25 milligrams of something I had no business taking, and it's been a rough 3 weeks. A rough 3 weeks. Then I had to fight with my supervisor and my boss, because I wanted to come back to work. And they were saying, no, you keep your behind at home and learn how to rest. And, you know, I just see so much stuff that has to be done. And then my wife was saying, baby, why don't you just rest? Get off the computer. Get off the phone. But how many of you know that if we don't fight right now, this may be our last fight. We've talked about custom and last stand, because believe me, these legislators right now, they are trying to fix it that they can actually stay in the office as long as they want to. You know, but you know, to come back, we have some priority bills. We're since they're talking a lot about drugs, we're saying, why not, if men and women are addicted to drugs and something has happened to them in their life, then we need to have treatment centers on the prison to help men and women so when they come out, they can be better people.
Yes.
And I've learned the mission of DOC says DOC is supposed to punish because they only have the body. So you punish, you correct, and you rehabilitate someone to be a better person. we don't get it. We've been hearing a lot of stuff about drugs inside the prison. When I was in prison, drugs came into the prison, and they was always putting it on the family members. But during COVID, we learned a lot that where the drugs was coming from.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're still coming in through the people that work there. You're seeing it every day on the news and things like that. It's a shame, but guess what? If we don't get involved and fight, I don't want to embarrass anybody in here, but how many of you in here know who your state representative is? That actually know your state representative? And who knows their senator? State senator. I tell people all the time, you should have those people on speed dial. See, I know right now, I believe I could call my state representative right now and I can get her on the phone. Because that's the kind of relationship you should have. And why should you have that? So simple. When they come and ask you for your vote, they're all up on you. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in your face and everything, but as soon as the election is over with, they disappear.
Right.
That is our fault. That's not their fault. That's our fault. I was looking at the bill tracker today, and we're up to about 150 bills that we're looking at very, very sharply, that we're going to have to go down to the Capitol and we're going to have to testify. And if we don't come out and testify and make a record of it, then that's what? They will do what they want to do. They're now trying to lock children up and put children in adult prisons. And who would think that their little cousin or their little nephew or their little niece can handle being in an adult prison?
Right.
Because first of all, when you go in there, your whole mindset changes. Your whole mindset changes. So we're looking at with the discrimination or opioid treatment, and especially in these jails. How many of you know that when someone get arrested right here in East Baton Rouge, and they bring you to the not the prison they have there, that's a jail. But guess where that body goes? To Callahoola at $127.58 per day. So it's mass warehousing. How many of you know, I sent it out the other day to our little staff and stuff, ICE is buying up vacant properties and making them warehouses to hold 5,000 and 6,000 people at $100 and some per day. So we need you to go to our website. It's www.voiceoftheexperience.org. If you need a card or something like that, you need to get it. I just had one of the attorneys call me a few minutes ago when I was downstairs, the non-unanimous jury verdict. How many of you know what the non-unanimous jury really is about? I'll put it like this. How many of you watch cowboy shows and stuff like that back in the day, Cheyenne and Wells Fargo? And what do they always say? If we can find what? 12 good men. Now, they've been putting people in prison in Louisiana with life sentences with a 10-2, 11-1. There were only 2 states that had that particular law. That was Oregon and Louisiana. Oregon took the big step and said that we're going to straighten this out because it's unfair and unconstitutional. Louisiana, they left it up in the air, and when you leave something up in the air with these lawmakers here, they're going to leave it in there. You know, so we're coming back this year and addressing the Constitution Amendment about the non-unanimous jury, which is very important because it's trapping right now. I think it's right at 1,122 men and women that have that jury instruction that's stuck in prison and can't go anywhere, which is very unfair. You know, all is saying that you shouldn't get bail on post-conviction. And Villio is bringing a bill to stop it altogether. And by the way, elections has consequences. If you go down the administration, the ACJ committee, it is stacked with former policemen, sheriffs, and prosecutors. And guess what? They're going to nail our hide to the wall. They don't care. Villio has, when I testified last year, I thought I was going to really get in trouble, which I probably did. It didn't matter to me. I said that here we've gotten rid of Jim Crow, and now we got Jane Crow.
I remember that.
Because here she is coming in with these things and what it's doing. But again, we need to work with our legislators. We're actually looking at making them enforce the OSHA rules when men and women are working in prison. All these things are important. Now, do we think we can win all this? Probably not. But guess what? We have to put it on a record for the future.
Yes.
Somebody has to know that somebody was fighting for them. You know, I have people telling me, man, you go back into prison after all that time?
Yep.
Well, you know, somebody came to see about me.
Right, come on.
So you have to give that back. You know, we're looking at first-time voting. If you're in prison that you should be getting out, you should be able to vote. If you know who that person is in prison, why they need all these IDs and all this now? Don't make no sense, you know? We remove that certificate. I was talking to a good friend of mine today that's right here tonight filming. He has to get the certification letter, which makes no sense because you already know he's hit the 5-year mark. And by the way, we were very fortunate to have Pat Smith years ago. She fought 5 years to get us our voting rights.
He did.
And guess what? There are formerly incarcerated men and women right now that have not registered to vote. I'll say that again, have not registered to vote. And sometimes I understand because I had a guy that was from Tensas, and he was all excited about, man, I got my voting rights and everything. And he went in to vote to register, and this elderly white lady, fictitious name, said, Robert, what you doing in here? He said, well, Miss fictitious name, Miss Smith, I'm coming to register to vote. She said, boy, ain't you on parole? He said, yes, ma'am. He said, I'll call the sheriff. Do the sheriff know you in here doing this? And that guy called us and said, hey, man, I don't want nothing to do with voting. I don't want to register to vote because those folks put fear in him. And they've been putting fear in our people, for years. So, you know, we have to look at all these things. We have a legislator, Terry Landry Jr. He's bringing the first-time voting exception right for us, create a mechanism to allow individuals incarcerated pretrial. How many of you know when we go to register people, in fact, tomorrow, we'll be going into the jail to register people. And you know why? They are pretrial detainees. They have not been convicted of anything. They deserve to get a right to vote. But you have the orange man, Donald Duck. He's trying to take voting rights from everyone. I read an article, I thought I had it in my folder here. He said Republicans should take over the voting. And he said we should run it in 15 states. He still hung on the 20 election that he lost. So when somebody can go in and get all the records, your voting records and all your personal information like they did in Georgia, that's dangerous. So again, how many in here are registered voters? How many in here actually vote in every election? See, since I've gotten my voting rights, I am a habitual voter. Because guess what? You have to vote. If you don't, guess what? They do what they want to do. And I dare anybody in here to tell me personally, you know, they got a football game. I don't give a damn. You got 6 days before the game, so you can go early vote. And do whatever you got to do. So if you don't do that, that is on you, because guess what? I'm on the menu today, and guess what? You're on the menu tomorrow. And guess what? I got a cartoon on my screen. I put it on the screensaver, where it's fictitious, where a white girl says, I didn't know, did you see them shoot Renee Good down like that, and that other boy? And the black lady said, hey, what? Real world. Now that you're shooting white folks, it's a big deal. If you're shooting black folks and people of color, Hispanic, it's not a big thing. So if we don't get involved, we have to make sure. Prison-based gerrymandering reform. What is gerrymandering? Does anybody know?
That's when they make weird districts.
Huh?
That's when they make weird districts so that they can.
And they pack it.
Yeah.
What if I told you, when I went to prison in 1984 in Angola, the roads was rough as they could be? What if I told you now that if you go in West Feliciana Parish, they got new highways, new schools, because what they did, they counted us in prison as voters as being a part of that community, which we have no say so. So we have to understand these things and really understand what that means, you know? Then the physical truth in sentencing. We had...
Time. It's been 3 minutes for 15
3
minutes.
minutes?
It's been 3 minutes. It's time to wrap it up because, you know, we're all
I gotta wrap it up? Well, I'm gonna wrap it up right now. When I went to prison, I want you to think about this. When my family sent me $20, I got $20. Now it costs $7 to send your loved one $20.
I cannot sit down. You might keep going.
They done went up on it. Now they're talking about going up on our parole fee. All of these things. So what I'm trying to tell you is, please pay attention to what's going on. There's a Go Vote app. I'm gonna end with this, I promise. On your phone, GEAUX. Everybody in here, I want you to download that app. GEAUX, because the next time I ask you who your state representative is, you can just pull out an app and it will tell you who represents you. It's a shame here in 2026 that we have no idea who represents us. So we should understand and how to do that. So I know there's a lot of other stuff in here, but go to our website, www.voiceoftheexperience.org. We have a bill tracker. You can actually look at the bills that's going on. You need to learn how to look at the pre-filed bills that are filed. This session here, a legislator can file as many bills as they want. So we got our work cut out for you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for this event tonight. And hey, just remember, moms are very important. Women are very important. And ladies, I'm going to leave you with this. If you don't vote now, just remember, it was 1920 when you got your voting rights back. At one time, you could even vote. Thank you.
And women lead the voting numbers, too.
I want to
Yeah.
just put a word in for Angela Roberts. She's the only Democrat running for District 69. If you live in House District 69, Paula Davis was your representative, but she resigned, so that's a vacancy. So they got like, what, 2 or 3 Republicans and this one Democrat, and
Hey, like Angela Roberts. I hope you hands. Yeah. Thank you, sis. Thank you.